Well, hello everyone. It's Arlene Klein, and I am here. We are doing the Moving Your Movement Practice Online Summit, and I'm here with Navid Moazzez. If I hopefully said that right.
Yeah, yeah.
um, he is a list building guru, and we're very lucky and excited to have him here. So, Navid, if you don't mind telling us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. First of all, this is great because this is not normally the crowd I tend to speak to too much. I mean, I do have, quite a wide audience myself over the years, but this is quite interesting. That's why I agreed to do this, because I can speak to some kind of different people. Like, you want to take your practice online and sell more in this space, which I've done for since 2000, I think 14 or so. I started 2013 actually myself, but I started doing more interviews and stuff. Then I got into doing virtual summits, and that's how I've grown a very big email list. But I've also leveraged a lot of other strategies. We're not going to talk too much about kind of my core expertise, which is summits. We have students generating, millions of email subscribers and tens of millions of dollars in revenue over the years through summits, but also a lot of other strategies that are kind of complements what I'm teaching. Like, we're going to talk about creating these powerful lead magnets. There's different ways to do that, how you can drive traffic. If you have a website already, how can you optimize that more? And how can you actually get, maybe not just your clients, to actually sign up for your programs and courses, but other people as well that might just randomly stumble across what you're doing. So they are the right fit for whatever you want to sell online, whether that's in a training, coaching, whatever you want to offer online. That's kind of my expertise. That's what I've done for the past several years. And yeah, that's kind of what we're going to cover here. And yeah, I've helped a lot of people doing it. Cynthia
Yeah.
actually has implemented some of my strategies for her business, especially the summit strategy, but also I'm sure some other things as well she's learned. So really excited to be here.
Yes, I'm excited that you're here also. And I know the first time we were, I don't want to say introduced, but I found you online when I was helping Cynthia with her first summit. And I found your lead magnet. And I
Yep.
was just like, Cynthia, this is going to help us. I mean, and it had so much information.
Yeah.
And we looked at it and she's like, okay, well, look at it here. And then she looked at it and it was beyond what we even imagined our summit to be. It was giving so much information. And I think
Yep.
that's an important thing. And I think why we stuck with you and had you in the back of our mind, even though it maybe took another year for us and for Cynthia to look further into your programs, because then by the time we were done with the first summit, we were ready to learn more and do more in that second summit. And we pulled,
Yeah.
she's like, find that document. We need that document. We need to look
That's
at
very
it
interesting.
again.
Yeah.
So that's
No,
how we,
I mean, she said that she actually used, I mean, you guys used it, and then she actually got really amazing results, but she joined the program and she wanted to take things to the next level. So I thought that was interesting. Some people maybe just stop there because, oh yeah, I got results from the freebie, which is great, by the way.
yeah,
And if you can implement, most people don't implement free material, but like, it's still a great introduction to your brand. I think that's kind of a good takeaway from what you're saying. Like, you found this and then you became, I mean, Cynthia basically joined I think she joined at the $2,000 level for my program, basically.
yeah.
And yeah, then she has done even better since then. So she was kind of a little bit of because I already have results. Should I join it? Should I not join it? But she joined actually, and she has gotten even more from the program than she got from the freebie. Obviously, we provide a lot more in there, done for you resources and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a good one for sure.
It is wonderful. It's helped us quite a bit with our
Yeah,
summit. And this last one was a huge success.
yeah,
And some people may know or may not know that I've helped her with all three of the summits. So I've seen it grow. And an important piece that I want to take from this little tidbit that we're talking about is that lead magnet, that it's important. You're giving away something free to have them join your list, but it's of value.
yep,
So a lot of the times I will sign up and I love the free stuff and I'm always signing up, but it doesn't, and I'm like, oh, that really didn't give me much,
yeah,
but yours gave us quite a bit, and that was very useful. It was actually too much at first that were like,
Yeah, maybe we should talk about this a little bit here, because what
okay.
is a great lead magnet in the first place? I mean, assuming you know your audience, first of all, you need to know your audience. If you don't know your audience, you need to kind of figure out a little bit who you want to target. But assuming you know this, maybe you have done some kind of survey, you have asked them what the challenge is, maybe you have gone into some groups, maybe you have even talked to me, you have clients, right? If you have some clients already, then you can actually ask them what they're struggling with and stuff like that. And you can figure out kind of what type of freebie to create. And a few good ones. What you guys downloaded was a cheat sheet. That's a great way. You said it was a little bit, it's quite a lot in there. It's not just like a few points. It's kind of a little more, it's more like a blueprint actually, if I would say so myself. So it actually has all the steps. So I have a 7-step process for hosting virtual summits, and I provide that. And that basically, it's an introduction to what I would provide in my paid program, basically. So they are getting there. I mean, people can just use this as a little bit of a stepping stone for actually hosting the summit, which you did. Chandler Bolt actually hired me, and that was in the early days. That was the first version of kind of this cheat sheet blueprint I created, was in 2015. And Chandler Bolt of Self Publishing School, he hired me basically doing more of a done for you experience for summits. Basically, like that was a high ticket thing. So I made, multiple 5 figures from this engagement. And it started with a cheat sheet that he actually started mapping out his summit. And then he brought me on because he didn't have the time to do all of this, basically. And that was kind of at a time when I did more of that. So maybe you want to get some coaching clients or whatever. If your freebie can kind of lead them in the right direction, that can be very powerful. So a cheat sheet, a blueprint can be kind of a video, like some kind of video to walk them through something. Maybe if you have a case study, that can be a good one to provide, And another thing, when you have that freebie that you provide, there can also be a checklist, anything like that. It is kind of easy to digest. I think that is good. Can also be some resources that could be valuable to your potential clients and stuff like that. And then you want to send emails. You want to have, obviously, the delivery of this freebie that you're providing. For sure, you can have that on prominent on your website. You can also have a landing page specifically for the freebie. I have both, so they can go to my blog post, they can go on different pages on my website. So I put this on multiple places. You might not get a lot of traffic now. Maybe you are getting a lot of traffic, especially if you are getting some traffic. You want to make sure you optimize your website so you have it prominently up top. If you go even to my site, navidmoazzez.com or simply navid.me, you can actually see there how featured this. You might do it a little bit differently depending on kind of who you serve and stuff like that. So don't look at that, but look at where I've placed different call to actions. I think that's universal. That's something you can implement as well. Like in the footer, you can implement it on your blog page and stuff like that. That's how you can increase the conversions. And then you can actually get more people to sign up. And when they do sign up, you want to make sure you have a really strong welcome email. That's the first introduction where they download that freebie. You have like a thank you page, and you might have some instructions there, what to do. And they go to their inbox, and you want to make sure they, whitelist their email, all this kind of stuff, but also have an introduction to you. What do you want to know about you there? And have a little sequence for people. Maybe you can have some more information there throughout, like a more like, so it leads, like each email builds on each other, basically. Yeah. So it can just be a 5 email sequence, 7 emails. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, that you can do with pretty much any email provider, like a ConvertKit, ActiveCampaign, whatever you're using, you can do that with these providers. And you basically have that, a really powerful sequence, and people go through that, and then they can get more information. You can have links there to some resources. You can engage them to reply and stuff like that. And what I do always, I want to know what they're struggling with. So what's your single biggest struggle when it comes to whatever you're doing, like when it comes to blank? And I ask that in the emails, and I engage them to reply, because that means, they get better deliverability and all that kind of good stuff we want from an email. When we send an email, we want to make sure they get them. So that's all kind of stuff I'm thinking about when I'm designing a sequence. So I know they have a great experience with my brand whenever they are signing up to something.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And that's something that I need to work on for myself and my own business, because I have a welcome email and I struggle with writing those emails. And I know once I do it, it'll be there forever, and I can always go back and tweak it if I need to. But
a tip for that, just write 1 per day. Like an email doesn't have to be like a long, it's not like a 5,000 word blog post, like that might take longer. That's what we do on my site a lot. We're writing these in-depth blog posts. They are quite daunting sometimes. They take time. But an email, like write to the person. Don't write, I mean, I don't, depending on who you serve, obviously, but I think in this case, for most people, you want to write, so it's just to one person, basically. Don't say you guys and these things. You want to write to one person. You have like maybe your ideal customer avatar. Put yourself in their position and writing to them. When you're sitting down to write this email, the welcome email, the second email, and third, and so on, you're sitting down and do that. And then you can do one per day. Won't take you, maybe in the beginning it takes maybe a little bit longer, but it shouldn't take you like more than 1 hour or something like that to sit down. Normally when you get a little bit into a flow, maybe even depending on how long it is, might only take you 30 minutes to do this, right? So then you have a little sequence. You can automate this from when they're signing up. And then you can also send them weekly broadcasts and stuff like that. Maybe you have ongoing promotions. Maybe you have some kind of launch coming up at some point, then you can do that as well. And you can, in that early sequence, you can also introduce them to something. Maybe you want them to book a call with you. Maybe you want them to, you might want to have a link to something you're offering. You can do that, in a nice way. Maybe you want them to sign up to a webinar, whatever that is. You can do that in that early sequence. Have some call to actions to train them to click on the links in your emails. Otherwise, you might get open rates, which is great, but you don't get want to take action. And you want to make sure you train your people on your list to take, the action you want them to do. That's very important.
I like that. Train the people on your list to take action. I like
Yep.
that. So, and you mentioned avatars. Some people in our audience may not know what that is.
Sure.
Other than, I know I used to think it was just a little picture that you had.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, maybe I can talk a little bit about that. I mean, there's quite a lot that goes in there. Usually most people actually, they have more than one group of people you serve. Ryan Levesque talks a lot about that when it comes to kind of buckets. And, that's why it's powerful. If you have already clients, you can actually do a survey basically and figure out what they're struggling with. So you can ask them, what's your single biggest struggle or challenge when it comes to blank, and blank being whatever you're offering, whatever your topic is, right? So you're not asking here what you're going to sell and stuff like that. You're just kind of trying to figure out. So in my case, it might be, what's your single biggest struggle or challenge when it comes to building an engaged email list, And then I will get a lot of responses. Maybe I'm not getting a lot of traffic. I don't know what lead magnets to create. So I'm getting all these things, and then it will be a lot easier for you to basically define this a little, if you're struggling a little bit. But customer avatar is essentially kind of the person you want to serve in a way. Like you need to know their struggles. You need to know kind of where they're hanging out online. You need to know kind of everything about them. Like even like almost like what TV programs they're watching, kind of like think about these things. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate for every person, but at least put yourself in the shoes of kind of your ideal person. And that's how you can start. And then of course, it's like you can have multiple kind of customer avatars or buckets in your market that you serve. Most people will have different groups of people, but at least when you start to simplify for you, think about one core group of people. Who do you want to serve? And think about that person as just you're serving that one person, because they're probably going to be other people in a similar position to them, for example. So I think that is pretty solid. And you just kind of answer. And I think we don't have time to go into all of that, but there's certain exercises you can do. Even if you search for kind of customer avatar, probably in Google, you get a lot of responses coming up, but it's really to just kind of going deep on the person you want to serve. You have maybe clients, then you maybe one of these people were really pleasant to work with. Then you can kind of identify that person and then what's their family like? What's their day-to-day? What's their work? What's their work-life balance? Like what are they doing? Like that's how you really can figure out how to serve them in the best possible way.
Yeah, somebody once told me that as a little trick to try to figure out who I was marketing to, and they said, name that person. Call her Sarah.
Yeah.
Say. And Sarah is, she's a mom, she's a business owner, she wears yoga clothes and yoga pants all the time because she loves yoga and she loves meditation. And,
absolutely.
Give them a little bit of a backstory. And
name helps for sure. I know a lot of people doing that. I think it's powerful because then you're speaking to this one person. So when you're sitting down to write this email, you're speaking to Sarah. She's maybe she's a single mom. She's doing this and that. She wears yoga clothes every day. Like she likes doing that. Then you know what she's doing. I think it's very powerful because the language you're using in your emails and copy that can represent that. But again, even more powerful, I think, to go, which I talked about, is to do like speaking to real people. If you have already clients, you can, ask them questions or getting onto a quick phone call with them and asking them a series of questions, and then just kind of transcribing this, recording this with their permission, of course. And then you can get a lot of data from them, especially if you don't have a big list yet, because usually when you do this, what's your single biggest challenge or struggle, you usually need, a certain number of people to respond and have hyper responsive people,
Right.
so you get some information from this. But if you have clients, you can probably get on the phone with some of them and get really in-depth responses. So you don't need as many people basically
Right.
by doing that.
Yeah.
I think that's very powerful. A lot of people have done this that don't have an audience yet, and they're starting out with the people they serve. Or if you don't have any people, right, you can go into groups and forums in your market and start building relationships, and then maybe asking a series of questions. I think that's pretty doable today. There's so much information out there, so you can kind of figure this out pretty easily with some work, of course.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of leads us into, if they're emailing and their list is just of their clients, how to
Yeah.
expand it to the people that are not clients yet. You want these people to become a client of yours.
Yes, that's a very good question. So what we talked about was the lead magnet. So you need to make sure you have something of value. No one is just going to sign up to your to your email list for nothing, unless they really know you, they really like you, or you're really well known or something like that. Then just a random person, they need something. You need to have a compelling lead magnet. Like we have done, for example, in my case, we have done like a list building playbook. We had a virtual summit cheat sheet. So whatever who you're serving, make it compelling for them, as I mentioned. And then it's about driving traffic to this. How can you do this? Maybe you're already getting traffic to your website. As I said, if you are, then optimize your website. Put this freebie on the most prominent places on your website, up top, like a feature box on the homepage. Download this thing. That you can see some example. If you go to my site, you can see a little bit how we are positioning this. You can have a special landing page for this. If you like, let's say you're promoting this to your clients or to your audience, whatever, then you can also promote that landing page. Or you can also get affiliate partners on board, right? Maybe you can make a list of the people and blogs in your industry. Kind of like a dream 100. Like there's a lot of people in my kind of my people here in my market, they're talking about dream 100. And what that is, it's a very simple concept. You just put the people in your market that you would like to connect with in some way. They're relevant blogs, they're relevant influencers in your space. And you make a list of these people. You can start with 50 or even less people if you don't have as many now. But for now, you don't have to know them. They're just people you're building relationships with. And then you can build a relationship and see in some way how you can support them and how they can support you. And then maybe you can promote something of theirs. Mm-hmm. And maybe you can do some kind of presentation together or class. And then they can even mail for your freebie in some ways, right? And that's a great way to build your email list for free. You're helping this person out. So it can be kind of a great collaboration. I think that's one of the easiest ways, especially if you don't have money to invest in advertising and stuff like that, to build your list, and there's definitely other ways, that, if you have already traffic, as I mentioned, you have a blog, then you can feature it there. You can leverage other strategies like, Pinterest and blogging, all these kind of things. But I think this is, I don't know if you guys, if you don't have that, I think it's easier to just kind of collaborate with people who already have some kind of audience and then leverage that. And then you can support them in some way, right? Maybe they can get an effect.
That's exactly what Cynthia and I are doing with this summit, because
that's a collaboration.
It's definitely a collaboration, because we've worked on all the other summits together. Well, not to say she's not working on this, but this has been more of my baby, because it's more of the content of what I do for her and what I want.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I want to do for other clients and helping them with this whole process of going online and their online presence. So that's a perfect way of explaining our relationship and how this summit came about, is because I was like, you had this huge summit, and a part of them were saying, how do I go online? How do I do anything online? I'm not set up for it. And that was a need that we saw. So we came in and collaborating together. on you. Okay, she's giving me these names and these people that need help. And I'm like, okay, let's help them.
My favorite strategy is virtual summits. I don't know if you're watching this and you want to do that. That's a great strategy to build like an email list very quickly. If you don't like have the bandwidth and stuff to do summits, it obviously is a bigger strategy that you can actually, you get more kind of speakers and influencers in your niche, and you can actually make money as you're building your list. Basically, you have a free pass, like, you know, this summit, you might have an upgrade for some kind of premium offer. And if the better the offer, obviously the better it converts. So you basically get people signing up for this because you get partners, you know, influencers in your niche promoting this summit on a specific topic that is relevant to what you do. And then you basically get people upgrade, and you building your email list for free, and essentially you're getting paid to build your email list. So that's a very powerful strategy, but it's a little bit more involved to do that. That's why I think we were going to focus more on the kind of low-hanging fruit, maybe that you can do a little bit easier, like creating a lead magnet, driving traffic to this, maybe easier collaboration to start. And then if you ever want to do a summit, obviously that is a great strategy, like explode your email list. I think, you know, I mean, you know this very well here, Lean. You know all about the explosion of Cynthia's email list that has happened because of your help and, you know, what we have done with virtual summit mastery and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
And it took us years to get here, which is why people have been asking, but it's like, it's not something that we did overnight. We've been working on it for like 4 or 5 years, and it's just now it's starting to do well. And but you have to start somewhere, which is why we're here, to give them the basics, to get to figure out, everybody might be at a different level. So that's why that's the whole purpose of a summit, though, also, is to bring in people to talk about different things, so that hopefully you will connect and resonate with 1 or 2 of the people that are saying, okay, that's exactly what I need now.
I mean, that is the best way to build also connections in your niche. I mean, you can do it. I mean, as I said, the Dream 100, you're building your list, you start reaching out to them. But kind of with a summit, what I like with this is that actually I'm building the relationship. At the same time, I'm collaborating kind of right away with them, because I'm involving them in the summit experience. So I like that myself, but it's a little bit more involved, obviously, to put the pieces together and stuff like that with the summit. But either way, I do highly recommend that you start building relationships with people in your industry. Like, you know, just kind of simple. Like you might have read something of theirs. You might have attended the Facebook Live or seen them do something. Maybe you have taken an online program of theirs. I mean, comment on this. Like maybe you have learned something from them, share it with them. That's how you start that relationship. If you don't know them yet, or if you already know some people, start kind of deepen that relationship a little more, collaborate with each other. I think that's so underrated online. Like that's a great way to explode your business without spending a fortune on advertising and stuff like that. Especially as you're starting, you might not have the budget to spend. You don't even know how to do that well. Like with Facebook ads, it's always kind of rising. The costs are always increasing for Facebook ads and stuff. And I think free strategies are great. And then when you get to a certain level, when you maybe have your online program done and you know it's converting, that's when you kind of amplify with paid advertising like Facebook ads. So you know who to target, you know who you serve, you know the customers and stuff like that. It's a lot easier that way.
Mm-hmm. And one of our segments is about going online and doing a live on how to use Zoom. But going live, and like even just us sitting here right now, the more you talk with somebody, the more you feel like you get to know them, which is why I'm like, Navid, make some time for me. I want to meet you before we go live.
Yeah, I know. That's usually what I do myself. I just was so busy. That's why I didn't have that time. Usually I do that myself. I think it's one of the best ways to connect even before a little bit. You can do like a quick chat, even 5 to 10 minutes. It's fine. But I like bringing the live element. I think live is very powerful. I think it's extremely powerful. It's not too difficult to do it. You can use a tool like Zoom. You can do, like if you're on a Mac, I use Ecamm Live a lot. It's pretty easy. Or like StreamYard. There's many solutions out there, even just natively on Facebook. Maybe you consider creating a Facebook group for your tribe, right? For your people that you want to serve. A Facebook group is free. You can like start in nurturing that community. But at the same time, what we are talking here about is to not only have people on social media. You don't own social media, but you do own your email list. Of course, you can get shut down and stuff, but usually you can just download that CSV file on your email provider. They can never steal that list from you, and you always can contact these people. That is not what you can say about Facebook, where you like, I don't know how the percentage is like crazy low, right? How many, if you have like 20,000 fans, you might not even reach barely a few hundred people, right? That's kind of what it is today.
They
It's
make
very
it
bad.
harder and harder. And I had
Yeah.
written a book, and I was thinking I was sending it out to all these people, and everybody, a week or two later saying, "What are you talking about? I never received anything." And I'm like, "No, I tagged you in it," and they're not even getting
Yeah,
anything
I mean,
that I'm
even with
talking
emails, right? I mean, this is with
about.
emails. Social media is worse, right? Social
Yeah.
media is way worse. Emails, yes, so here's the why. I mean, that's why it's so important to build an engaged email list. I think, depending on the market, might be like a 15-20% open rate. Like in some markets have a little bit higher, let's say 20-30%. But if you do engage with people and you do add consistent value, at the very least, try to send a consistent email once per week. Like that's beyond your nurture sequence when they sign up to your list, right? The little 5 email sequence or whatever you create. At the very least, you deliver the lead magnet, a few extra emails, not anything fancy, and then you can send a broadcast email potentially once per week. Can be a recap, can be something that happened, can just kind of be something useful. And then also you want to make sure you promote to that list occasionally, right? You want to make sure maybe you have a partner, you want to promote an offer of theirs, and you might get an affiliate commission, an affiliate cut. Maybe you get 30 to 50% if it's an online product. And then you can also promote your own product. You have a launch coming up. You have a webinar you want to do and teach something. Then you can promote that to your list. And the more engaged your list is, you're going to see the more people open the emails, but also the more people will click on the links in your email, so you can actually get people to take the actions you want them to do. So I think that's some takeaways for you as well.
Now, do you know anything about, and that's why we want them to take action, whether they reply or click, so
Yep.
that we don't end up in spam as much?
Yep.
Because if you're sending these emails and nobody opens them and nobody engages, then you're more likely to be put in the trash.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's true.
The
Yeah.
email systems are very smart. They're very smart. And, so if
Yeah.
you know your clients, and the people that you're targeting to, that they don't like a long email, or they want a story, to think about that also. Cause I'm one who likes a short, quick, tell me what you're here for kind. And some
Yeah.
people like to read something long. So,
I think it's a
getting
little
them.
bit different, actually, what people like. I think the most important thing is you can consider mixing it up a little bit, especially as you're starting out. You can see kind of what you prefer as well. But the most important thing is to add some value, right? So
Right.
yeah, not every email should, I guess, be a promotion. But I think at some point you can also have, you can have a recap as well. Like some people do these weekly emails where you send like a series of things that have happened. Maybe you have some content you produce every week. Maybe you have a blog or some kind of online content you produce, right? You can like link that. You can also link to other resources out there that you have found valuable. So it can be pretty easy. But going back to what you said, to get people to reply to your email. So usually how we do this, I think that's the simplest way to implement this. After, usually have the lead magnet delivery. 4 hours after they get this lead magnet, we have tested like 4 minutes to 4 hours. We send them an email, and it's pretty simple. It's just kind of asking them about, let's say, about this VSM PDF you down, basically about this VSM cheat sheet, or something about VSM cheat sheet, or something like this. We might even add their name in the subject line or something to just entice them a little bit more. But there's nothing more than that. And then we just ask them, hey, I just sent you the virtual summit blueprint. So glad you signed up. You just want to make sure you got it. So, and then we asked them, like, can you just hit reply to let me know that you got this thing you downloaded? It's pretty much like this. And the other thing we ask here in the email, and while you're at it, while you're doing this, because they're already replying, can you please let me know what's your single biggest struggle or challenges when it comes to blank, when it comes to building your email list, for example, when it comes to hosting virtual summits. So I'm getting basically them to reply. I'm getting so many replies from this, for summits, for my own just regular lead magnets. It's insane, actually, what this has done. It's such a simple strategy to implement. It's just, and I originally got this idea from Ryan Levesque, so I want to give credit where it's due. But I'm not sure if he's using exactly this anymore. But for me, it's been pretty powerful. You're getting so many replies, basically, when you're doing, if you're doing it the right way. But it's just a short email, basically. It's a very short email. You can also add a PS to this if you want them to join a Facebook group or something like this. But they should not be like a main CTA or something. It should be mainly about getting them to reply to this email, and hopefully also giving you some more information about what they're struggling with.
I love that, because I know that I reply to those a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I will say, and even if I didn't, it reminds me that, hey, wait a minute, I did sign up for that because I may have done it while I was searching online for something else, signed up for something, went on with my business for the day, and seeing that says, oh yeah, I did sign up for that. Let me go look for it. It's
Yeah.
probably, since it's a new email, it's going to be in my spam or junk. Then I
Yeah.
go and I save it because I'm like, I think I'm going to like this.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you can also have some kind of line that, make sure you whitelist or drag this from the
Right.
promotional folder to your primary tab. You can have certain things like that. You just kind of train your audience, basically, or clients, whoever they are. You just train them to basically, do things, because most people don't know. They're just signing up for something online. Like, I mean, most, especially with everything going on in the world, with COVID-19 and everything else, people are going more online. You guys are coming more online. You want to sell online, right? I think it is happening more. Like, online education industry is booming. More people are signing up for stuff. Yes, it gets some more competition too, but that is a good thing, especially if you can do this the right way and you can really serve your audience in a great way. You can add a lot of value, and then they're going to purchase from you as well. If you can add consistent value and help people with some small things, give them some small wins. That's kind of the goal with your free content. Yes, you want to provide amazing value from free content. I think we over deliver on our freebie. I think we did that, but
That's
I think,
okay.
I mean, it is really, you don't have to do a massive freebie like this. You can do some small wins in your freebie, in your free content, in your free sequence. So every time they open, they can get an aha moment. They can get something they can maybe take action on, but then they want to maybe work with you in a deeper way as a client in your online course or online coaching program, whatever you offer. That's kind of what that's the goal with your emails. It's not just to build a list of freebie seekers. I mean, that's great, but you probably want some paid clients, paid students coming on board. That's what you want. And that's what you need to design your content strategy, whatever you do with your email marketing, to actually lead them to that end goal. So that's very important, actually.
And with this audience, since they're all within movement, whether it be Feldenkrais, yoga, Pilates, and even physical therapists, a video is where a little, like, 3-minute video of a position or some information, or them showing somebody lying down and them
Oh,
explaining
wow.
maybe the position, like
Very
something
powerful.
like that might be useful to them, because
Yeah.
I'm just thinking as far as what
Yeah.
the type of work that they're doing, that is, it's going to be useful. So then they can maybe have a sequence of those little
For
snippets of
sure.
videos that.
I think another thing you can consider, especially if you're comfortable more with video, I think you can, like, for these type of topics, I think you can get a pretty good view on like views on YouTube. That can be a great traffic
Yes.
strategy. Potentially on Instagram too, right? You have Instagram TV there. You have stories. That's a great way to connect more with people. So you have different like social media. How you want to look at it is a great. Yes, you can build a great audience there, but like if you're starting now, you're gonna have probably start with pretty much zero there. And that's why it's also important to lead people from, if you get a good following on social media, maybe you get a video that takes off. Maybe it gets a few thousand views, tens of thousands of views in some cases, right? You want to make sure that you also have a way to build your list from this, not just you want to have maybe a CTA sometimes in your videos or something, so they can actually go to your website to download that lead magnet, which we talked about before. So everything you do should be designed around that. Should you promote in every single video or every single Instagram post? Probably not, but you can have something. You can have a link in your description. You can have certain things that lead them to whatever you want. I think that is very important. You should always have some kind of call to action, whether that is to comment or like on Instagram. That can be on YouTube to, like, subscribe to your channel. That you should always train yourself and your people to do something. I think that is important. Otherwise, they don't know what to do. I think I always try to have a call to action.
So let's say, out of all we talked about, what are there any other strategies or anything that you can think of that might benefit to help build a list that is, again, and some people might not even have a list at all, but
Yeah.
or just taking that, starting, whether they're starting the list or taking who they have, taking it to another level. I know we just talked about a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely I mean, this usually what you need is, first of all, you need a lead magnet. We talked about that. Then it's traffic strategies, right? How do you drive traffic to that lead magnet that is compelling enough And in most cases, you're going to start with free traffic strategies. So we talked about, you can leverage collaborations. You can get some people to promote for you. You can leverage, free platforms like YouTube, potentially Instagram. Yes, it takes time to build those platforms before you have people there. But then other ways could be like going to engage in Facebook groups, for example, or forums. And like, I'm not saying that you need to spam your links there, but maybe you build a relationship with, one of the group hosts, right? And then but maybe you can do a collaboration with that person. They promote your freebie, and you can always create your own community, and you can keep building that up, right? So you need to know where your people are hanging out online. So it's kind of hard, like where should you go? You need to know where they're hanging out. You need to focus on that platform. I think that is like, it's not like rocket science. Like collaborations is like what we do on a summit. That's what we do maybe on a partner webinar, or when you collaborate, maybe you're sharing their lead magnet, they're sharing yours, and stuff like that. So that is kind of some traffic strategies for you. That's social media platforms, as I mentioned. So you have to kind of decide, don't spread yourself too thin in the beginning. Kind of focus on kind of the 80-20. You need to know where to focus your efforts. Where do you want to start out? Like, where's your ideal customers hanging out online? Kind of start there and look for the people there. And I think for a lot of people, collaborations, because they're probably on someone else's email list, right? And that's going to be a little bit less effort in some ways. Yes, you have to build that relationship, but at the same time, it's going to be quicker. If they send an email for your freebie, you can get hundreds, if not thousands of people signing up to your email list pretty quickly. I think that is what happens in virtual summits on a big scale. That is what happens very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you're sharing each other's information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So make sure you share, Navid.
Yeah.
Share our link.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, that's great. Cause I know for everybody, sometimes it seems like, so much. And, breaking it down for everybody is something I'm going to talk about at the end of the summit, and looking at all of the pieces and seeing maybe, cause some people might have a pretty good and established list that they're looking to, look to improve other areas so that they can put their business online.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking that in doing so, we talked briefly about websites. And do you have, I know you said a little bit earlier with the call to action high up on your page.
Yep.
Any other pieces of the website? Because we do
For
have
sure.
talking about the website, but putting where you're going to attract your list.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I would love to do website reviews, and that's something I'm pretty good at, but I like, for just kind of simplification, I think a lot of people's websites out there, they are very bad. They're not optimized for conversions. I think you need to, maybe if you have been more in the offline kind of world, you need to shift your mindset a little bit. I mean, if you have a list, that's great. I mean, then you have done something right. So maybe you should focus on doing more of that. But if you have some traffic to your website, but you're not building a list, I think then you need to first, like, make sure the website is clean. First of all, you have the clear information they want there. You have like an about page. Even your about page, you should have some kind of CTA. So on the most important pages, you can go to Google Analytics actually, because most people should do that. Obviously, that's kind of a basic, website thing. You need to set up some tracking on your website so you know how many visitors coming there, and then you can actually see what websites get the most traffic. And in most cases, your about page will be one of the most traffic website, right? They are the pages on your website. That usually is the case. Obviously, if you have a blog, you can have it in the sidebar or inside of blog posts. You can do specific lead magnets there even. So you need to add it like pretty much a little bit everywhere. It's without being spammy, but it's just, people are scrolling. They're seeing different things. So you can add it kind of in the footer of your website, up top on your website, even in the navigation. If you have you can have like free PDF or something. Let's say you have a free lead magnet, you can add in the navigation up top in the core menu, and that's where you can add also a link, right? So you can just think about different ways to add it in. You can have a separate landing page, as I mentioned as well. So there's different ways to add it onto your website, especially above the fold. It's good to have something where they can actually go and opt in to your email list. And then it's important to have a clear call to action there. So you don't say, join my email list. You want to make sure you address what are they getting here, and having some kind of clear message up top on your website. And then you say, maybe like you also get this, epic, checklist where we are walking you through how to do X, Y, and Z. something like this, right? You can have like a clear, headline on your website, and then you might have a little line below. That's how we do it right now on my website for navidmoazzez.com, because we wanted to first kind of tell people who we serve. We help people kind of start and grow online business, right? Help people start their dream online business and help them achieve their dream lifestyle. So that's kind of what we address up top. But then if you see the other line is basically also saying that you're going to get, if you click here, they will get some kind of a lead magnet, right? That might change occasionally. We might update that, but always that button there will lead to somewhere where we actually can build some kind of audience from this, or at least lead them in the right direction to becoming kind of an audience member, and go from there to hopefully become a customer in the future.
That's perfect, because I think I have to improve mine. I might have you look at
You're
my
not alone. I
website.
think a lot of people can. I think a lot of people, I see this all the time. Like, there's nothing wrong. Like, people are like, you don't need that. That's kind of interesting. You don't need like the most amazing website in the world to get clients. But I think if you are getting traffic and you're feeling that your website is underutilized, I think this is what you need to improve. You need to improve the conversion. Maybe at some point you do a full rebrand if you're not too happy with how it looks right now and stuff like that. There's definitely I think, this good design is kind of subjective, of course, but there's design principles, I think, that are good and bad. So I think you need to, I think what I like a lot is clean design. I do like, certain elements might stand out a little bit, but I do like a very clean design. I think that helps people a lot to navigate. They see the message is clear. They know what to expect. They're not being all over the place, because the worst you can do is to confuse someone who find out about you for the first time. They're never going to sign up, right? They're never going to become a customer if they're just confused right out of the gate when they find out about you. So just be clear and have an easy to use website and have call to actions across your site. I think that is one of the biggest takeaways from this segment.
And when you said earlier above the fold, I want to make sure that people understand what that means. And that's when they first get on your site, correct?
Yes.
Or they
It's kind of like if you go on mobile, and like a lot of people are on mobile these days, depending on the niche, of course. Some people might still be using desktop and laptops a lot. I use both, but like if I go to my analytics, I would see that a lot of people are on mobile. So it's kind of, and Google also favor mobile indexing a lot. So it's important to see that. And when they go to whether they are mobile or even on a desktop or laptop, you want to make sure kind of that button, that call to action would be above the fold in some ways, so it doesn't come too, especially on landing pages, is even more important. Like when you have some kind of opt-in, I think there's different purposes behind it. Sometimes you want to tell some kind of story, but in most cases you want to make sure it's clear to the point, and you have a button above that fold, like basically so it doesn't get cut off on the screen. That is kind of what above the fold is, right? So otherwise it gets below what you don't see unless you scroll. It's basically above the scroll. That's kind of how you can see it. Yeah, that's the easiest way to explain this, to be honest. It's just like very simple way. So what you see when you go to the site, and obviously if you have a massive screen, like you want to look at that in a regular format screen, right? So you look at that on a smaller laptop screen, or like an iPad or tablet or mobile phone. So you can check different screen sizes. Does your whatever call to actions you have show above the fold? That's how I help my students. Even some of my students, they try to add more information up top, but then their button gets pushed down too much, and that's not always good.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for all the information that you've given us. It's definitely jam-packed, I think. I want to make sure that everybody knows that Navid is giving everybody as their bonus the ability to sign up for his list building, the list building school.
Yeah, it's just a virtual summit we hosted. Actually, like wherever you sign up, it's an automated summit. We have hosted it before, but you can get access to it. So you can get access free. You can also there's an upgrade for it as well, so you can kind of go through the experience. But even if you don't purchase or anything like that, you can definitely just kind of attend the sessions. I think they're they starts like in two days after you sign up. Basically, this first session goes live. 1 or 2 days after you sign up, the first session goes live, and then you can basically attend it over a week. This 7-day summit, and you attend the sessions. But if you just want to purchase right away to get everything instantly, you can do that as well. It's a pretty low cost there. So yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again for being here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
and I look forward to attending. I know even though I've gotten some of your free stuff, I have not
Yeah, yeah. I
signed up
mean,
for the
look,
free
you guys
summit.
have. I mean, Cynthia has all obviously virtual summit mastery, but
Yeah.
there's other. I mean, that's what we talked mostly about here. We didn't go too much deeper into the summit strategy. I do have I believe I do have a session also on list building school. So list building, it's just listbuildingschool.com. If you want to like check out some more of my content and stuff like that on my website, you can just go navid.me. There's a short link for my site. You have a lot of stuff on, marketing, list building and stuff. So, just jump on there. If you feel anything resonates with you, you can jump on the email list. And obviously you do join the email list when you do sign up for List Building School Summit on listbuildingschool.com. So then you get on the list and you get more information from me as well.
Wonderful resource of information for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that for sure. Yeah, if you have if you sign up and get some takeaways, do let me know for sure. That we have that's a lot of great sessions there, like how to do. There's advanced stuff there too, but it's also beginner friendly. So we have like Neil Patel, we have some different marketing experts, we have who else was on? Stu McLaren was on there. We have Ryan Levesque on there. We have some amazing people teaching their strategies that work really well. So this is actually stuff that is working now. So you will give it even more than what I kind of gave you here in this session. So you will get kind of other strategies and other input from how you can improve your practice, your business, and bring it kind of online. And we even have stuff on online courses and stuff like that there. So it's pretty useful overall.
Well, thank you again. And I want to make sure to tell everybody that for the 72 hours, I'll have the link up for the List Building School. And of course, just save listbuildingschool.com and take advantage of all of Navid's information and resources there. And I'm sure it'll be a great help with them getting and moving their movement practice online.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if we have any questions, as for Navid or for me, you could always email us and we'll forward those and try to find out an answer for you, because this is a hot topic. This is a hot topic. And even for me, because I need to build my list.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's what I encourage you. Like you can like, let's say you sign up for something, you like, and you will see, actually, I'm using the strategies I've shared here today. So I'm using like this, email where I'm asking you, what's your single biggest struggle or challenge? You can reply to one of these emails once you've signed up, and I get it personally. Sometimes I get a lot of emails, so it might take a little while to get back, but I do read all my emails. I check my inbox. And if you have something specific, I will get back to you as soon as I can, for sure.
Thank you. That is wonderful to hear, because that's a huge benefit right there, having that communication and that somebody to help.
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you, and we're going to say goodbye right now.
All right.
Take care of yourself. Be good.
Thanks so much. Ciao.
Bye bye.